Large majority see our healthcare system. This is now how important do you feel the following are to our identity. So healthcare, so that's number one. Charter of Rights and Freedoms, Canadian flag, our national parks, and our national anthem, right? So 2/3 or more, and you can see pretty consistently since 1997 over the last 10 or 15 years. The next tier are the RCMP, in spite of the trouble they sometimes get into. We have Canadian literature and music, and look at multiculturalism. 1997, 37%, and now it's up at 56%. The more multicultural we are, the more we are embracing the idea of multiculturalism as being part of our identity. And I think on the debate, I think Mr. Harper, I was just thrilled actually. I thought he was astoundingly eloquent in his defense of multiculturalism. I'm asking for a transcript. I'm going to use it in my next presentation because I thought it was something, since the Liberals had kind of invented it, that the Conservatives might not embrace, but he appears to be doing that. So I'm delighted we have an all-party. By the way, in Quebec, they don't like multiculturalism, they like interculturalism. And of course, this could be the narcissism of small differences. I don't know. But if they want to call it interculturalism, it's fine with me. Then we have hockey. I don't know whether anybody in Toronto says that, because, well, we have a team, don't we? We have a hockey team. The CBC, bilingualism, and the national capital, Ottawa, and then the Queen. Now this is a poll this was done, when did I say, last fall, in September, October, before the betrothal of a girl named Kate and a guy named William. So I will do this survey again this fall, and that will probably become #1. Particularly if they agree to come here and, you know, reign over Canada, I guess. It's nice to have royals that you think, like, it's been a long time since we had Henry VIII, where a royal actually looked like someone who would actually enjoy being in bed with somebody of the opposite sex. I think this. All right, I'm just testing that line. I'm going to give it to Russ Peters. He can use a kind of a. Okay, did I survive that one? All right, so the Canadian Federation. All right, so this is winning conditions in Quebec remain elusive but not impossible. So this is present status for Quebecers being in Canada. So back in '86, 52% were happy with the present status. Now it's 32%. So this is why Jack Layton's now talking about maybe constitutional talks, which of course we all love, Jack. Thank you very much. But anyway, that's what he's saying in Quebec. So 32% like the present status. Independence, 23%. I love these phrases. Of course, sovereignty association, whatever that means, is 20%. And then we have special status at 18%. So you can see with that kind of people embracing those kinds of terms and language, it's kind of a muddle, and that's the way some people just love it. So I would say winning conditions, I mean, for independence, no, but for sovereignty association and independence, or sovereignty special status with sovereignty association and a little bit of it. Anyway, if you ask the question, depending on the leader and the phrasing of the word, you can probably get a majority. And last time, what, in '95, it was 50-50. So a lot of it also depends on who the leaders are. Support for bilingualism in both Canada and one's province are the highest since the mid-1970s, but I've got some interesting data here for you. So it's 60% who think we should be a bilingual country. Should you be a bilingual province? 60% agree with that, although it does vary. Quebecers think definitely, 80%. You should have French and English. Atlantic Canada, about 2/3 believe it. Ontario, 60%. It's up from 52 who think we should be a bilingual province. It then gets to minority status when you're in Manitoba, Alberta, British Columbia. So in the West, less likely because there's less Francophone presence in that region, and Saskatchewan, the least likely to think so. However, and this is kind of interesting, you guys are teachers, and I'd be interested to know, how many people are actually saying it's important that we learn the other language. So this is among importance of speaking the other official language is decreasing over time. So we're going to be a bilingual country, but how important is it that you speak the other language? And in 1985, 66% thought it was important, Anglos, to speak French. It's now down to 38%. I guess these are the people thinking, well, yeah, but wouldn't Mandarin be a little more, relevant, or learning how to speak American or some other foreign language that would help us in our dealings? And look at Francophones. 98% thought it was important to speak English. In 1985, it's now 48%. This is a tribute to the success of Bill 101, where they're saying, in our province, you should be able to raise a family, get a job, be a successful person without having to speak Anglo, without, what do we call it? English, yes. And I think actually it's kind of, now you can look at it as negative, or you can look at this as kind of positive, that people can actually live in their own language and think it's less important to have to speak the other language. Anyway, that's kind of an interesting one. Almost all Canadians now believe that young Anglophones and young Francophones have the same interests. So 96, I guess, interest in sex, drugs, and rock and roll. I guess that's kind of universal. I don't know. We didn't dig into what they meant by having the same interests, but that's kind of positive. No more than a third of Westerners believe the region gets so few benefits it should go it alone. This is only 28% in 2010 versus 36% way back in '87. That's in Alberta. Of course, they're a strong presence in our federal government. And Manitoba, it's gone down, the proportion who think they should go it alone in the West. This is Saskatchewan, it's about the same as historically. In British Columbia, it's down a bit than it was historically.